Sure. Yeah. Well, I think the security space for mobile device actually evolved. It started obviously by doing basic things like making sure that the data on the device is secure and encrypted, also that the communication to the backend systems, enterprise system are secure and all those kind of elements. But what we're seeing increasingly is that enterprises are really concerned about the risk of data loss. So it has really evolved from that, especially in the software context, because you can have access to a document on your mobile devices and you jump from application to application. And this is where most of the risks are starting to appear right now.
Inherent in everything we do platform-wise is to ensure that we protect those digital rights, because otherwise those brands aren't going to bring their content to the networks. And then the other piece of that to me too is privacy. That's kind of the other side of the security equation for end users to have the control themselves of who knows what about them and how much. And so another area that we're focused in.
The area which is more interesting to me is the fact that when it comes to enterprise information, people don't usually realize necessarily that they are putting some of the data at risk. Because again, they will get into their emails, they will pick up a document, and then they will choose a productivity tool on the side, start playing with that document, and don't realize that actually information is moving from the enterprise protected side to the non-protected side. So that's this duality, which is, I think, interesting as well.
Yeah, and it's an interesting question you ask, because I never know whether they think their mobile is more secure or just from all of the issues we've been through on the computing side over the last 15 years, right, whether we've just become a bit numb to it and kind of expect it as part of the process of using these products. But I think people will make decisions based on themselves, how much they're willing to do, what they're willing to share, and what sort of transactions they'll conduct from their device. And so we've done just about all the engineering tricks we can do on the Airlink protocols to squeeze more capacity out of the networks. And so I look at that as a key area going forward, is making sure we have enough spectrum available globally so that people can do what they want to do with these devices.
But that's actually the very core reason for our existence.
Okay.
Because obviously those devices have started to spread, mostly from a consumer standpoint, and people have started to acquire those devices and wanted to bring them to the enterprise. The BlackBerry model was much more what we so-called corporate liable, where the enterprise will buy the device and give it to the employee. But now people come with their own personal device and they want to have the same type of access. The challenge is the security. Again, we're going back to that, because what was different in the BlackBerry model is that BlackBerry was actually basically owning the whole chain. Mm-hmm. So from the back-end access to the device and to the operating system. Now, there are different operating systems, there are different devices. It is just the access from a software standpoint. So how do you really do this level of security is the important element. Well, I would say from a software perspective, I think it would be a mixed model, because it really depends on the use case. So if you have an application where there's a lot of things in the cloud, you need a lot of processing power, and you don't want anything at all on the device, well, you can do it always connected. Now, when you're in one place where you don't have connectivity, what do? So there are also use cases. You're in a plane, you want to be able to work on local data. So there will be mixed models, I believe. So the challenge is to provide security across all those different models, and also the boundaries aspect, and the spectrum is going to come back, because if everything is online, you may have some difficulties there. So.
And I do think it'll be a mixed model. Although, when I look, I think about my home computer, and when was the last time I went to a store and bought a piece of software versus going out to the internet and using an application or a mashup site or whatever it might be. So, but I agree. I think it'll be a combination of both for the reasons you just stated. It seems like the cloud became very popular to talk about over the last couple of years, and that everything was going to live there. But I think it'll gravitate more toward the middle. And so I look at, and I have no research to back this up, just by asking people, I think probably 8 out of 10 people that carry a laptop are really doing two things when they carry it. They're checking their email, and they're using their internet browser to go do something. And so therefore, I think that's why tablets have really hit into this spot now, that it's more than just a niche piece of the market. I think it'll be a growing piece of the market. Most people are carrying much more computing power and software with them when they're mobile than they really use or need. There's still a subset that I might have to write a story or work on a presentation. But even that, from the tablet, the way the software is evolving, is getting much easier. So I think they're definitely going to be more than a niche device, and a really rapidly growing piece of the market for that reason.